How's it going, everyone? UFC Fight Night, Atlantic City, Blanchfield versus Fiorot is this upcoming Saturday, and I'm going to break down every single fight on the card, and starting in chronological order with the early prelim opener of Nate Landwehr versus Jamal Emmers. This fight was just recently added. You have Nate Landwehr coming off that tough loss to Dan Ige, but Dan Ige, I mean, I think he's criminally underrated. I think that's not a bad loss to have at all. He made it to a decision with Dan Ige. He looked better than I thought he would. I thought Dan Ige was going to KO him. And then you have Jamal Emmers, who's, you know, I hate to say it, but kind of a stepping stone in the division. I don't really think he's that great. I don't think he'll ever be in the top 15. I think he's coming up on getting cut. So I'm going to go with Nate Landwehr. But Jamal Emmers, I mean, I don't think he's been finished that much, has he? He's been barely ever TKO'd. I mean, lost, you know, two losses by KO/TKO, almost never TKO'd. I mean, the same amount of losses by submission. So I doubt Nate Landwehr is going to be able to actually crack that chin of Jamal Emmers. I mean, he's really only been KO'd by, you know, people in his early career. So I'm going to go Nate Landwehr getting the decision done here. I do think he will crack crack Jamal Emmers very badly in this fight. I think he will probably drop him in the first or second round when he's still fresh and very explosive. So I'm going to go Nate Landwehr, 30-27, maybe even 30-26 decision if he gets a 10-8 in the first or second round due to a knockdown. I think he'll land the more damage. I think Jamal Emmers won't be able to take him down, won't be able to really strike with him on the same level as Nate Landwehr. So I think Nate Landwehr is going to easily outstrike Jamal Emmers to I'm going to say 30-27. I doubt he'll get a 30-26. So 30-27 decision for Nate Landwehr. Let's move up the card. Melissa Gatto versus Victoria Dudakova. You know what? I am going to trust in Victoria Dudakova to get this one done. And I do think she will win a 29-28 decision. Very close. Melissa Gatto's only really lost to great competition. Tracy Cortez and Ariane Lipski, which is, you know, not bad people to lose to. But at the end of the day, I do think Victoria Dudakova does have the right skill set to beat her. I think she's going to mix in the grappling. I think she'll have decent enough stand-up to stand with a Melissa Gatto. And, I mean, I'm not really looking forward to this fight. I think it's going to be a bottom-of-the-barrel women's, you know, I don't know if it's going to take place at flyweight or strawweight. You know, they're both from different weight classes here. So, I think ultimately Victoria Dudakova is just a little bit better everywhere. I think she's going to outstrike Melissa Gatto. I think she's going to outgrapple Melissa Gatto. Maybe Melissa Gatto may be able to have the slight edge on the feet, but I just think Victoria Dudakova's grappling is going to be too much. I'm going Victoria Dudakova via 29-28 decision. Moving up on the card, Ibo Aslan versus Anton Turkaj. Why is Anton Turkaj still in the UFC? I mean, just had a shit-stained performances in his last fight against Tyson Pedro, got brutally KO'd, lost to 3 of his last 5, I mean, lost to Vitor Petrino and Gelton Almeida. Now, let me say this, all 3 of those names, not terrible. I mean, Tyson Pedro is not a great person to lose to, but other than that, Gelton Almeida and Vitor Petrino, both, you know, I think somewhat the future of their respective divisions. So, you know, I am going to go Ibo Aslan in this fight. I think he's got gnarly power. I think he's got the better striking. Anton Turkaj, mostly a striker. He's not really going to try to grapple in this fight. So I think this is a no-brainer in my opinion. I'm going Ibo Aslan via first round KO. I think he's just going to land on the chin of Turkaj, and Turkaj is just not going to get up. I could even see a flatline KO here, to be honest. Moving up on the card, Julio Arce versus Herbert Burns. Wasn't Herbert Burns cut? I could have sworn Herbert Burns was cut. His last fight was 1 year and 8 months ago against Bill Algeo, when he lost due to exhaustion from damage. What a terrible performance he had. He was literally just scooting around on his butt on the canvas like a dog on a carpet. I never wanted to see this guy fight again, but I guess he's getting another chance. Julio Arce, you know, lost his last fight to Montel Jackson. Not a great look. Beat Daniel Santos. Decent, you know, competition there, but we still don't know a lot about Daniel Santos. And he lost to Yadong Song. You know, he's been around for a bit. I am going to trust in the veteran experience here of Julio Arce to defeat Herbert Burns. Veteran experience in the UFC, I mean. I know, you know, Herbert Burns is older. He's probably been in martial arts in general for longer. He's a, you know, great jiu-jitsu practitioner, but just can't do shit in the UFC. I'm going to go Julio Arce. Is he going to... I don't think he's going to TKO Herbert Burns. I honestly just don't see enough pop in Julio Arce's shots. I do think he'll chew up the legs of Herbert Burns very good. So, honestly, we could see a, you know, TKO from leg kicks or, you know, like he lost his last fight just due to exhaustion, just pure exhaustion. Herbert Burns' cardio is terrible. But I'm gonna go Julio Arce by decision, 30-27. I think he'll win every single round. Herbert Burns is an absolute bum. Get him out of the UFC. Moving up on the card, we have Chidi Njokuani versus Rhys McKee. Now, I believe, yeah, I picked Rhys McKee against Angelosa, which, I mean, Angelosa just showed, you know, 2 weekends ago that he's absolutely terrible. I mean, Brian Battle was just beating the dog shit out. I mean, that's a bit of an exaggeration, but Brian Battle was just winning every single, like, part of the fight, on the feet, on the ground, in the clinch. And Angelosa gets eye poked and just pretends like he can't see, and then 30 seconds later is, like, trying to fight Brian Battle after the fucking fight is called off. So I think Angelosa's an embarrassment and a bum, so to lose to him is quite a statement. Chidi Njokuani, not on a great run himself, lost 3 out of his last 5, but Mikhail Alexeychuk, Albert Duraev, and Gregory Rodriguez, far better competition that he's lost to than, you know, fucking Angelosa. So ultimately, I am going to go Chidi Njokuani. I do see a TKO potential here for Chidi Njokuani. I debated picking him by decision, you know, 29-28, just landing the more damage, but I'm going to go Chidi Njokuani via round 2 TKO. I think in the first round, he's going to hurt Rhys McKee badly at the end of the first round. Rhys McKee is going to be trying to recover, and he's saved by the bell. And I think at the beginning of the second round, Chidi Njokuani is just going to immediately put the pressure on him and, you know, put his lights out. I mean, not put his lights out. I do think it will be a TKO, but ultimately, Chidi Njokuani, round 2 TKO. Let's move up on the card. Angel Pacheco versus Callan Loughran. I picked Callan Loughran in his last fight, and he didn't look terrible, but he didn't look great at all, man. I thought he was going to run through Taylor Lapulus. I thought he was going to TKO him. And he just, you know, underperformed so terribly on the night. Angel Pacheco, coming off that loss to Danny Silva. Not a terrible loss we saw in Danny Silva's last fight. You know, he's not bottom of the barrel, but he's not great either. So I do believe that, I mean, I was going to say Angel Pacheco has a chance here, but I'm going to go Callan Loughran. I'm changing my pick here last second. I do think Callan Loughran is, you know, faster, better on the feet. His takedown defense is terrible. He definitely needs to fix that if he's going to be fighting, you know, much longer. But I haven't done a ton of research on Angel Pacheco, so you could, you know, prove me wrong on this in the comments. But I don't think he's primarily a grappler, so I do think, you know, Callan Loughran will be able to hang in there in this fight and just outstrike Callan Loughran, or Angel Pacheco, sorry. I'm going to go Callan Loughran via round 2 TKO as well. I think it'll be late round 2 TKO, though, because I don't know a ton about Angel Pacheco. He hasn't been KO'd, I don't believe. Let me double check real quick. Yeah, he has not been KO'd, so I do think he does have decent durability if I had to guess, but then again, I haven't done a ton of research on the guy. You know, he's brand new to the UFC, you know, lost on the Contender Series, still got a contract. I don't know why Dana White gives so many people contracts, but I'm going to go Callan Loughran, round 2 TKO. I do think he'll get the job done with just volume and the heavier hits in general. Moving up on the card, Connor Matthews versus Dennis Bajuka. I'm going to go with Connor Matthews, and I think he's going to out-grapple Dennis Bajuka. Dennis Bajuka has terrible stand-up. Terrible takedown defense. I do think he's going to get taken down a lot in this fight. I don't think he's going to get submitted, which is what Connor Matthews usually likes to do. I think Dennis Bajuka, with the, you know, more experience in the UFC, will be able to survive on the ground, but I do think he's going to be dominated on the ground. I'm going to go 30-27 decision for Connor Matthews. I think Dennis Bajuka may be able to hang in there on the feet, but he's just not going to be able to do enough. Moving up on the card, Andre Petroski versus Jacob Malkoun. Andre Petroski, man, I honestly thought he was going to be something special until he just got KO'd by Michel Pereira. But Michel Pereira has shown recently that he's very strong at middleweight. So I don't think the Andre Petrosky train is just done just yet, but I mean, Jacob Malkoun just, I mean, I don't think he doesn't have a chance in hell to beat Andre Petrosky. Lost to Cody Bumdidge in his last fight. But it was not really even a loss because, you know, Cody Brundage just took the disqualification. So, but I mean, if you're going to that much of a close-ish fight against, you know, Cody Brundage, I do think it's going to, you know, hinder your ability to fight an Andre Petrosky. You know, Andre Petrosky's much more experienced, has the better resume, better level of competition. I think he's got more pop in his shots. I think he's got better striking. I think he's got better grappling. So I'm going to go Andre Petrosky via 30-27 decision. A lot of decisions I'm predicting so far. A lot of 30-27s for that matter. You know what? I am going to go 29-28. I do think Jacob Malkoun's okay. You know, he showed he's a caliber above, you know, a Cody Brundage, above a Nick Maximov, above an AJ Dobson. So I do think he's not going to be, you know, put out like 30-27 or KO'd or submitted. So I'm going to go Andre Petrosky, 29-28 decision. I hope that reasoning makes sense because, you know, honestly, I didn't think of too much into this fight, but I do think that Andre Petrosky will get the job done fairly easily. Next fight on the card, Nursultan Ruzaboyev versus Cedriques Dumas. Now, Cedriques Dumas, I immediately thought the first time I saw him fight, I'm like, this guy's terrible. He has no gas tank, which is true. He has no gas tank, but he's proved me wrong on a couple of occasions. I even picked Cody Bumdidge against him, and I picked Abu Zaitar against him. So he has proved me wrong a couple times, but I am going to go with Ruzaboyev in this fight. I think Ruzaboyev's just going to ragdoll him, take him down, rinse and repeat, chain wrestle. And I think, you know, he's probably going to end up submitting Cedriques Dumas. Cedriques Dumas only lost one time. It was by submission to Josh Fremd, who I think is way worse than Ruzaboyev on the ground and just in general. So I think Nursultan Ruzaboyev is going to get a submission in the first round. Maybe not the first round. Maybe it goes to the second round and Cedriques Dumas is gassed out by then. Maybe he hangs in there in the first round. But I just think the takedowns are going to be too much for Cedriques Dumas. I'm going Nursultan Ruzaboyev by round 1 rear naked choke. Next fight on the card. We're on the main card now. Sorry, the last fight was the main card opener. So Bruno Silva versus Chris Weidman. I do think, you know, Chris Weidman should have retired after his last fight. I mean, that fight with Brad Tavares was just so hard to watch. I mean, he got his other leg fucked up in that fight. If that isn't a sign to retire, I don't know what is. You know, that was 6 months ago as well, so he's probably just healed up enough to fight. I think because he tore his ACL, I believe, or maybe have even fractured his other leg. I'm not quite sure what the injury was, but I do know he got injured in his last fight against Brad Tavares. I'm going to go Bruno Silva, and I think he's going to brutally KO Chris Weidman. Bruno Silva has good power, has an iron chin. I think, you know, those 2 losses he's had recently, Sharamagomedov and Brendan Allen, not bad losses at all within the last year. So I'm going to go with Bruno Silva via second round TKO. I do think it will be to leg kicks. I think Bruno Silva is going to see that weakness in Chris Weidman, and I think he's just going to leg kick the shit out of him until he can't walk anymore, and the ref has to call it off. So I'm going to go Bruno Silva via second round leg kick TKO. Moving up on the card, we have Verna Jandiroba versus Lupita Godinez. I think this one's a no-brainer. I mean, Verna Jandiroba is decent. She's got good grappling, looks terrible on the feet. I'm going to go Lupita Godinez by decision. I think Lupita Godinez has the better striking and the better grappling. I think she's more well-rounded. I think she's at a better point with a better trajectory in her career. She's younger, 5 years younger. You know, she's got motivation. She's training with Alexa Grasso and Diego Lopez. So coming out of a good gym, you know, I think she's a lot stronger in general as well. So I do think she'll be able to, you know, kind of manhandle Verna Jandiroba. So I'm going to go Lupita Godinez, and I think this will be a dominant decision. I'm going to go 30-27. I think she's going to win every aspect of the fight. And, I mean, I want a bigger step up. I mean, Verna Jandiroba is number 6? That's wild. I had no clue Verna Jandiroba was number 6. So, I mean, if Lupita Godinez wins this, which I think she definitely will, she's going to be looking at a top 5 opponent. That's, I mean, my mind is blown right now. I mean, where's the time gone? I remember when Lupita Godinez debuted, you know? It felt like yesterday. But Anyways, I'm going to go Lupita Godinez, 30-27 decision. Next fight on the card, the co-main event, Vicente Luque versus Joaquin Buckley. I hate to see Luque fighting, man. Okay, Luque should win this fight. He's got better power. He's got better striking. I don't think Buckley's got great grappling anyways, so I don't think this is going to be a grappling fight. If anyone's going to impose their will in the grappling, it's going to be Vicente Luque. But, I mean, I just hate the fact that, you know, he had a brain hemorrhage not that long ago. He looked so gun-shy on the feet in the RDA fight. So, I'm going to go Vicente Luque, but I'm not, you know, 100% confident in that. Reason being, I do think he'll try to implement his wrestling a little bit, but I don't think he's going to be able to take Joaquin Buckley down, and I think it's going to be a striking match on the feet. I could see this fight becoming fairly boring, to be honest. I know that sounds crazy. These two guys are always, you know, in exciting fights, but I could see a world where, you know, Vicente Luque is just sticking behind his jab, you know, throwing good straight punches, throwing the keep kicks, keeping Buckley at a distance. You know, he has a height advantage, and I mean, they're equal on reach basically, so I mean, the length isn't going to be that big of a deal, but I think with, you know, Luque's miles better striking, I think he's going to be able to actually create a distance that works for him and his frame. So I'm going to go Vicente Luque. I almost want to go decision, but I'm going to say third round TKO. I think eventually, just throughout the fight, he's just going to be beating up the face of Joaquin Buckley, teeping him to the body. Well, what am I saying? Vicente Luque doesn't really throw teep kicks that much. I think he's going to be landing good leg kicks, and I think he's just going to, you know, the damage is going to add up. He's going to hurt Buckley with probably a right straight or maybe a left hook, and, you know, I think he's probably going to drop Joaquin Buckley, swarm him up against the fence, and get a TKO finish. So I'm going to go Vicente Luque via round 3 TKO via punches. Moving up to the main event, Erin Blanchfield versus Manon Fiorot. I'm going to go Erin Blanchfield. Manon Fiorot is very good. I would not be surprised if she won. I mean, beat Rose Namajunas, beat Caitlin Sermonara, beat Jennifer Maia, beat Tabitha Ricci, beat Maria Rabina Silva. All, you know, as far as the women's division is concerned, elite level competition. But I think Blanchfield's got the way better grappling, man. I think she's just going to, you know, take her down, rinse and repeat. I think this fight's going to be a stinker. I think it's going to go all 5 rounds, and Blanchfield's just going to be racking up that control time, landing some elbows on the ground. I could see her getting a submission maybe late in the fight, but I think Manon Fiorot's hungry. She's going to want this win, so I do think, you know, she's going to be able to hang in there. But I just think it's going to be a complete masterclass for Blanchfield. Maybe the hype's getting to me a little bit. But, I mean, I just think, you know, she just beat Taila Santos, who, you know, gave Valentina Shevchenko her best fight before Alexa Grasso. So I do think Erin Blanchfield is going to win this fight via 50-45, maybe 49-48 decision. Or I should have said 49-46, but I mean, maybe 49-48. Yeah, I think, you know, Manon Fiorot is going to get exhausted by trying to get up over and over and over again. And Blanchfield, you know, she just has an unrelenting pace, and I think she's just going to put the pressure on Manon Fiorot. And at the end of the day, I just think, you know, Manon Fiorot, future champion, but I think this is an incredibly difficult matchup for her, so I'm going to have to pick against her in this fight. I've been very high on Manon Fiorot, but unfortunately in this fight, I do think Erin Blanchfield will win a dominant decision. So that's it for the card. I hope you guys did enjoy this video. Let me know if you know, want more prediction videos. My last prediction video has been the best trending video on my channel thus far. So I thought I'd put this one out. I'm going to be doing more, you know, for the high level fight nights and pay-per-views for now. I'm not going to be doing the, you know, Apex fight nights and stuff like that. So let me know if you guys want more of these videos, and if you did enjoy, please leave a like. I would very much appreciate it. And thank you all for watching, and I hope you have an amazing day.